So when I started out my own SMMA, my niche was initially e-commerce store owners, and then I eventually transitioned to e-commerce store owners as well as high ticket coaches. Now at this stage, a lot of agency owners get stuck with the concept, Rohan, what should be my niche, who should I go about targeting, etc., etc. As a result of this, they end up wasting months trying to figure this out within their own head. So my suggestion to you is to apply the advice that I did for myself, which is get out of the building, go get your hands dirty, go get some experience, and figure out who is the ideal customer that you can work with, to whom you can deliver maximum value, and eventually want to work with. So for me, at the time when I got started, Shopify and dropshipping was really trending. Well, it still is, but not at the extent that it was back in the days around 2016 and 17. So I decided, hey, all these e-commerce store owners are really, really going viral, and they are selling all these products and they are making thousands and thousands of dollars. So why can't I be involved and help them get the same results or even better for whatever that they're already doing? So that's when I moved on to the problem section, and I started understanding that, look, e-commerce store owners and coaches were tired of getting low return on investment because of Facebook ads, and they were breaking even, and some of them were even losses. So what I decided to do is I realized that they needed a professional to deliver to them spine chilling return on investment. This means that they wish to actually develop omnipresence and dominate their competition while achieving the most efficient cost on Facebook ads as possible. So this is what I realized. Now look, if you're watching this video right now, sure, e-commerce stores owners may or may not be relevant to you, but think about this: there are so many business owners right now who might require your help regardless. So think about this. Let's say, if not with Facebook ads necessarily, you might realize that if you're selecting e-commerce store owners as a niche, e-commerce store owners might face different kind of challenges. Let's say, in terms of their client support. This means that they might get like a lot of queries every single day regarding their orders, regarding when exactly it'll be dispatched and whatnot, for which they might need to hire a lot of support people. So what you can do is you can understand that problem, and you can consider probably launching an AI bot for them, which handles all these support queries on their behalf and takes care of the same, right? Or another example would be that in today's time, TikTok ads for e-commerce stores is going really, really viral, especially with drop shipping. So this is another thing that you can start observing. Now, how do you do that? By watching YouTube videos like how you're watching right now, and basically interacting with different kind of avatars within your niche. So back in the days, I used to talk to a lot of e-commerce store owners, and that's the reason why I was able to understand their problems so well. Now, once you have done that, the next thing you need to do is you need to form your unique value proposition. Why? Because just like yourself, there are so many other people who are trying to start their own SMMA. So you need to be different and you need to be unique. Now, how do you stand out? Well, there are three things that you can do to stand out. The first thing that you can include within your services to stand out is to have some must have offerings, and then you have performance benefits, and then you have delighters. Now, what exactly are must haves? Now, imagine this. If you're trying to buy a car, right, what is the basic thing that you expect in a car to have? Well, a basic thing that you might expect a car to have would be a seat belt. Why? Because if the car crashes, you don't want to go and fall and die, right? So it's important that every single car, doesn't matter which company you buy from, has a seat belt integrated. And quite similarly, for you, what you need to do is you also need to start looking at, if there are other SMMA players out there, what are the must have features that I must include in my services so that the basic requirements of the clients are met. This means they are not entering my world and then they're asking, where is this thing? Like, this is the most basic thing I expected from you. Where is it? And I don't want you to leave that impression to the client. That's why I include these must haves. Now, for me, back in the days, what I discovered was, for a successful SMMA to run, I need to have a dedicated account manager. This means a point of contact who can talk to my clients and really help them out with their deliverables. Now, initially, when I started, it was me, but then slowly, gradually, I was able to hire and train employees who were able to do this on my behalf. Then I also realized that doing a one on one onboarding call was a must have, because all other agencies were also offering one on one support. Was really important. WhatsApp slash Voxer slash Slack slash Telegram support, very, very critical. And then having some sort of DFY department, like maybe, like, let's say if you are, offering recruitment services in as an agency, or maybe you're offering ad services, maybe you're offering design services. Really depends upon whatever you are specializing in, right? So point is that it's very important to have a DFI department as well. So these were the must haves that I decided to include within my organization and my agency. Now, in terms of performance benefits, what exactly is this? Well, again, back to the car scenario that we had. Now, we know that a seatbelt will be included in every car, but in terms of performance, every car might be different. For example, let's say you're trying to buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, right? Ferrari or Lamborghini do not care about their fuel efficiency or their mileage. What they care about is how fast can this car go and how can it make you look like the fanciest person on earth, right? So that's what they optimize for when it comes to performance. But let's say you're planning to buy another car like a Swift, or maybe you're trying to buy, let's say some Ford. Then what would happen is those cars might optimize for mileage, and they might optimize for fuel efficiency, because they understand that the target market that they will buy, that will buy from them, care more about saving money as opposed to speed, right? So that's why you also must understand that when you're trying to do or create an SMMA, where do you want to stand? Do you want to compete in terms of your speed? Do you want to compete in terms of your quality of your service? Do you want to compete in terms of something else, right? So what will make you different from rest of the agencies out there in terms of your performance? So what I realize is that I would optimize for speed. This means faster. So if I can get my clients results in a shorter duration than rest of my competition out there, let's say 90 days, then I will have a higher chance of retaining them and keeping them as a client. So that's what I decided to do. Then I also decided to add a guarantee. This means that if you don't get the result, you take the money back. So this means if the funnel doesn't perform, you do not pay. And of course, this really, really helped me out a lot and made me stand out from the crowd automatically. And then cheaper. So compared to the return on investment that I would deliver to my clients, I always made sure that my service fee was literally cheaper than the amount that they would make, so that the client ends up making a profit. Because if the client is not consistently making a profit after taking into account your fee, as well as the fee or the amount that they will be spending on TikTok ads or Facebook ads, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and the client would not want to continue in the future. So these are the performance benefits that I decide to optimize for. Then I also decide to add some delighters. So by that, what I meant, think about this again, back to the car example. If you're buying the car and you see that in the car there is Apple CarPlay, or there's a navigation system, well, that's a delighter. This means that it doesn't need to be in the car, because it doesn't directly affect the performance of the car or the must haves of the car, but it is something which, if you do have in the car, your experience as the driver of that car would be better, because you'll have a navigation system or a music system or whatever, right? So those things are critical, because having one or two delighters, in my opinion, would really, really increase your sale value. So for me specifically, what I decide to do is, in addition to my services, I decide to add two group coaching calls every week with my clients. So this means that, let's say the client had some queries, or maybe one of their team members had some sort of query. So they had the option to jump on a call with me and discuss the same. And it also allowed them to network with other people, which brings me to the next point, which is we also added a school group. Now, school group is something that we do now. School didn't exist back then, but you could consider creating a Telegram, Voxer, or whatever kind of group that you prefer, which allows these clients of yours to interact with each other, and as a result, learn from each other's insights and grow at a much more faster rate. And then we also decide to add some shorter course materials. So sometimes there will be a lot of stuff that you might be repeating to these agency owners again and again. And instead of them waiting to get on a call with you and get the solution, imagine if you have some Loom videos or some basic recordings that you can just give to the client on demand. Don't you think that their service experience will improve drastically? I definitely believe so. So, by offering these must-have performance benefits and delighters, I was able to stand out from rest of the crowd, which allowed me to charge premium prices for the advice and value that I was offering, and eventually land some whale clients as well.